What's going on, everyone? You're back with Jono for another quick math lesson. Today we're going to be looking at two-step equations. So if you haven't been introduced to the topic of equations to start off, please have a look at my last video because it goes into some of the skills that we're going to build on in this lesson. So we have three major skills that if we can identify, we're going to be sweet. The easiest thing is that only one of these is mathematics based. The other two are just kind of looking at stuff. So the first thing we've got to do every time we see an equation is work out what is furthest away from the letter, okay? Only on our side. So whatever's furthest away from the letter, that's what we're going to attack first, every single time. The second thing, this is the only math skill we need, is that once you've identified what's furthest away, to get rid of it or get it onto the other side, we just have to do the opposite operation directly underneath to both sides. So this is the only thing that's going to take any kind of mathematical skill. And if you know that plus is the opposite to minus and divides the opposite to times, you're going to find it pretty easy. The last one has to do with like laziness, unfortunately. If you take the time to write out the next step in the equation or write a second line of working, these are almost impossible to get wrong. So just taking that extra time, maybe setting your book out properly, giving yourself some space, you will find these 100% cruisy, I guarantee it. So let's have a look at some examples. So we've got 4x plus 6 equals 10. So the first thing we've got to do is work out what's furthest away from the x on this side. So the 4x, they're obviously right next to each other. And then the plus 6 is a little bit further away. So we're going to deal with that 6 first. So to get rid of a plus 6, I have to do the opposite operation, which is minus 6. I like to do it directly underneath the number that I'm dealing with, just to make sure that I don't kind of get confused as I do my working out. Because I've taken 6 away from one side, I've got to do the same thing to the other side, because otherwise it would be unequal. And the equal sign means they have to be the same. So if I take away 6 from one side, I've got to do the same thing in the other side. So these 6's get rid of each other. So I'm left with 4x is equal to not 10, but 4 because I minused the 6 away. So now all I've got to do is exactly the same thing, but now dealing with the number closer to x. So this time I've got 4 times x is equal to 4. To get rid of a multiplication 4 times, I have to divide this side by 4, and I have to divide this side by 4. These two cancel out, which is giving me x is equal to 4 divided by 4 is 1. I can check if this is correct by subbing it back into that first thing. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 6. Yeah, that's equal to 10, so I must be right. So these two-step equations are not that much more difficult than the one step. You just have to do it twice. There's no extra maths. You're just doing the same thing 2 times. Let's have a look at this one. So we got t divided by 3 minus 2 is equal to 5. So the t and the divided by 3, they are closer to each other. I like to think that they're on different floors of the same building, and this minus 2 is all the way in a different building. So these two are the same, close to each other. The minus 2 is the furthest thing away. So to get rid of a minus 2, I have to do a plus 2, which means I've got to do it to both sides. That leaves me with these two cancelled out. T over 3 is equal to 7. T divided by 3, so the opposite of divide is times, and I have to times the 3 off, which means I do the same thing on the other side. Times 3 and divide 3 cancel each other, so we're left with t is equal to 21. So you don't have to do these crossing out each time, I'm just doing that to show you, but as long as you've got this opposite operation underneath on both sides, you're going to be cruisy. Last example here, 2x divided by 3. We can see that the divided by 3 is way further away than that 2x. So that's what we're going to deal with first. Because it's divided by 3, we've got to times that one by 3 and times this one by 3. That leaves us with 2x is equal to 18. You can always use the calculator if you need to, but I know in some exams you're not allowed to use your calculator, but if you can, why not? Now we've got 2 times x is equal to 18. To get rid of times, we've got to do divide by the number, and we're going to do that on both sides. These 2 cancel out, leaving us with x is equal to 18 divided by 2 is 9. Just make sure if you are using your calculator for these ones, you've got to put the big number or the number on top in your calculator first. You have to do 18 divided by 2, not 2 divided by 18. But that's why I write them in this straight line down, because all you've got to do is read from the top and type in what you see. So I hope you have a little bit of confidence knowing that these are not too difficult. If you take that time to write your second line of working, I guarantee you're going to do really well in these. Teachers are also going to give extra marks because it is 2 steps of working. So if you throw them both in, even if you make a mistake, you're going to get 1 out of 2. You might even get 2 out of 2, even if you get the wrong answer, if you've made a silly little mistake somewhere else. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you later.